Hello there, I'm Ariana Hunter, real estate broker and financial expert. And today we're going to be talking about, well, what are the 5 fights people have about money? And, well, I might be looking down because I don't want to make sure I don't forget. But let's start with the number one. It is helping parents out. Usually, if there is a couple, regardless of gender, one might decide to help their parents out over the other. And that causes a lot of fights. If they do agree upon helping the aging parents, then the other problem is the frequency and the amounts that they're helping their parents. This causes many fights. So it's important to discuss this up front as how you are going to be dealing with your aging parents if you feel, especially, I know it's kind of soon, but if you're going to marry it's soon if you're dating, but if you're going to marry the person or you're going to be with them and financially intertwine, then you should discuss how you feel about helping parents out, because this, it causes a lot of guilt on the child, especially if they feel that they owe their parents for all the years that they took care of them. Depending on the culture as well, it has a great impact. The second fight is going to be uh, child support and ex baby baby mamas, but ex spouses. If there is spousal support or if there's child support, the current partner feels that sometimes they help out too much, more than what the court stated, above and beyond what the court stated, and it's natural because it's with children, you want to help, but this causes friction as well. The new spouse feels that their whatever their contribution to them to the relationship financially is leaking out to the ex and to the children, and so this causes a lot of fights. Also, for parents who do not pay child support, and that causes liens, legal problems, and then the current spouse feels that the the burden of what happened in the past, now they have to pay for their current spouses or significant other mistakes. So if you have children, this is a conversation that you should have. If you have back uh, back pay support for child support, or if you are up to date in how much you pay and how often. Again, if you are going to establish yourself with this person long term and financially. The third item that people fight about is shopping. Amazon actually is one of the biggest fights that I see, and it's based on people like to shop, and one shops more than the other, even if they have joint accounts, or even if they shop out of their own money. They work and they buy whatever they want that they feel they're entitled to, and this has caused a lot of fights because maybe the other spouse usually tends to be that way. One of the partners is more conservative than the other. Usually, two spenders will not last very long, and two savers, well, that tend to last as well, but it's a greater success rate if they're staying together. But two spenders for sure don't last very long. But for the most part, um, many couples are one spender and one saver. So the saver feels angry and resentful that the shopper cannot control their spending. The fourth item is eating out. Again, one likes, there's many couples that like to eat out often, but there's couples who one of the partners eats more often than the other. That means that they buy 3 meals outside their home, and again, if they have is their money, they feel that they have to eat. They have to eat, and they're entitled to use this money. But money, food takes a lot of chunk of your expenditures in a home, and so if it's not accounted for, or if it's excessive spending on that, the other person feels, okay, I eat at home, why should you be eating out 3 times a day? That is too much. The frequency, the places, the amounts, all that causes fights. And finally, let me see. Oh yes, the most important one, who controls what? Well, in this case, usually the one that works is the one who controls the account. Usually set up a second account So they could have joint accounts where they could put the money and they could spend it however they decide is going to be spent and who's going to pay for what. But many times the money is not joint, and one they keep their separate account and the other person keep their separate account, and so the one that does not work has to ask, and sometimes they feel that they have to beg the person who works for money, and this causes a lot of problems. Also, accountability. Many people who work, the ones who don't work, they ask them for what do you do with the money, give me accountability even to the last cent, and it's very degrading for the people who don't work. So this causes a lot of fights. Also, if they have joint accounts, or that's the best thing, if they have joint account and money goes in there and designated or allocated in, or an idea what's going to be spent eating out, an idea what's going to be spending paying bills, and not necessarily if you have one account and the one that works puts money in there and the one that does not is in that account, and they are the spender, or they are the one who shopper, or the one who helps the parents, or the one who likes to eat out, it causes a lot of fights because this person is counting with their money and they feel they're being robbed. It's called financial infidelity. People don't tell each other what they spend, and it is hard to talk about money because people don't want to sound materialistic, but we it's just the way it is. Love don't pay bills. Money pays bills, and so we have to be realistic. So if you cannot have that intimate conversation about money, then you might reconsider, because in the long run you're going to end up separated or divorced, and for the very reason, because by the time you get to talk about it, you have damaged each other emotionally and angry, and it's very little to salvage. So these are the reasons why people fight about. Again, it's so important to feel comfortable with the person you're with, and a good sign of knowing that you are comfortable with the person you're with is that you are able to talk about money. So don't fight about money. Be open. Of course, always have your own savings. I believe that everybody should have their own separate and have a joint, and talk about who's going to pay for what, or what bills are going to be distributed. So it is something that has to work for you. If you want to pay 100% for the other person, that's okay, completely normal. Everything's normal in that sense. It's your household and you could run your finances whichever way you feel. If you want 50-50 or 80-20, whatever works for you guys, that's what you guys should discuss. I hope this has helped you. Till next time.